I feel like people have kind of forgotten why Eagle is actually one of the best players to ever play the game, so let's check out some highlights. And before we get into this compilation, just wanted to say that about 93% of you aren't subscribed to this channel. So if you enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe. I will definitely be doing a lot more of these and a lot more crazy content. So make sure to subscribe. All right, so this is just strictly from 2018. There were so many shots that I could have picked. He has won so many tournaments. He is just a overall great player. But I thought we've already seen all the Eagles that Eagle has. It's been a compilation to death. I thought it'd be more interesting to actually check out how he got to be where he is today. And I isolated that to the 2018 season. So there are certainly shots that you might think, hey, like, why didn't you include this? I hear you. I just wanted to include 2018 as my encapsulation to make sure it was a unique enough look at Eagle in his arguably prime. I'm not going to say that he's not in his prime now, but with that said, if you have like major health concerns and you have injuries where you may not be at your best. All right, so looking at these shots, it is very clear that Eagle's putt is extremely dialed in, and this was 5 years ago. And in the offseason, he has not been working that much on his distance game, definitely not much on forehands. He has just been powering that putt. And if his putt was like amazing beforehand, then I can assure you that this 2023 season, he will just be lights out. But something that I really thought about was just how far Eagle has come. There were a lot of talks that Eagle was immature, abrasive, not super friendly. And I would say that a lot of those discussions are actually kind of put to rest. I think Eagle has definitely matured. He is not the same guy that broke his wrist at USDGC. He's definitely evolved to a more complete player. And speaking of complete, I think the ability to throw lefty will certainly have pretty interesting use cases. He always has that in his back pocket in case anything happens. If there is a certain situation where he's final round, he doesn't trust his forehand enough, he can go to his lefty backhand. Having that ambidextrous nature will certainly improve his game if he needs to in the tour. I think because he will be playing a lot more than he has ever played in the past like 12 months or even more, I think there is certainly a possibility of re-injury. I am not hopeful for it, but it is definitely something that I would be considering. And certainly rewatching this footage, it is just so clear that Eagle just has effortless distance. He knows how to flip up a shot. He knows how to throw hyzer for 450, 500. He knows how to throw a dead flat forehand that goes the entire distance to the pin, no matter how far it is. And it is certainly important to note that while Eagle is young, he is not inexperienced. He has done so much. In a lot of these compilations, it was noted, Eagle has accomplished so much already. And this is in 2018. He certainly hasn't had the same amount of wins as other pros in the time span from 2019 to 2022, but he is still playing lights out. And if you can win one major while you're injured, then I can assure you that he is definitely still just as good as he ever was. I think he'll definitely play a lot more tentatively. His forehands will probably look very different than they used to. And I actually noticed him holding his elbow a little bit on some forehands when I was rewatching footage. So I definitely think this was something that was in the works for a long time. I think it makes sense because if you hear the way that he throws a forehand, it makes a very audible flicking noise. And I bet that is because he's just throwing with so much force and so much power that he just had to get injured at some point. So if he can generate the same amount of power without having to throw nearly as hard, then I hope we get some Eagle forehands this year. But I'm not certain on it. I think if Simon is any example, then it is certainly not a huge likelihood, but I am hopeful. But looking at this 2018 footage, it is just pretty much a given that if he is within 38 feet, he is more than likely going to make that putt. And sure, you could say that about other players, but I think it's definitely more so true with Eagle because he is just so predictable, such a strong spin putt that you just know it's going to go dead center, maybe even a little bit higher. He seems to favor the higher chains, but when it hits, it's going to hit hard and consistent. And if he can truly distill his distance and putting game, then I foresee many wins this year and for the rest of his career. Obviously, it's not necessarily a hot take. He's one of the highest rated players in the world, but I think it is certainly a sort of hot take because people aren't necessarily thinking about Eagle as like the top player in 2023. There's certainly a lot of questions about, is his health ready to go for this year? Is he even going to be playing all the events that he says he's going to be playing? It's hard to say right now, but I honestly think he's just going to play lights out. I watched him at Goat Hill, and if he was playing at like 70% capacity, then he still played very well. And while he may not have the same personality and beloved persona as Simon, I certainly think that with Simon being gone, he will be the face of Discmania. I don't know if Gannon will necessarily instantly fill that role, so I think this is definitely Eagle's year to really show that he is a dominant player for Discmania and that he deserves whatever contract he will get or currently has. And this is definitely a time for him to show his true colors and show how he has matured and can play in these difficult and stressful times when every tournament is very, very crowded, very competitive, and you have to play near perfection just to win any tournament this year. So definitely foresee him destroying this year. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any thoughts, comments, or favorite shots of this 2018 compilation, I'll be sure to make other compilations because there's so much Eagle content out there. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Balderon signing out. Peace.
You really have no way to get to the pin.
Oh no.
Oh, baby!
Oh yes.
Oh my God. A triple Annie kick?